There comes a time in every man's life when silence becomes louder than words, when the noise of the world fades and all that's left is the quiet truth staring back at him. It's the moment he realizes that everything he was taught about strength, love, and worth was a lie. Since boyhood, you were told that being kind was enough, that being good, helpful, polite, and loving would bring you happiness. You were told that if you gave everything, people would value you, that if you worked hard, stayed loyal, and showed love, you would be respected. But somewhere along the way, you learned that reality doesn't work that way. You learned that people don't always value effort, that love isn't always returned, that loyalty is often met with indifference, and that being good doesn't guarantee anything. You gave too much, you cared too deeply, you tolerated too long. You tried to fix what wasn't yours to fix, and the world rewarded you with silence. That silence, that's the moment of awakening, the moment you realize that your worth was never supposed to depend on someone else's recognition, that your validation was never meant to be borrowed from anyone. When a man bases his self-worth on how others see him, he becomes a slave to perception. His confidence rises and falls with approval. His energy shifts with attention. He becomes predictable, fragile, and desperate for love that cannot save him. Maybe you've been there, sitting alone at night, staring at your phone, waiting for her reply. Replaying every message you sent, wondering if you said too much, too little, or the wrong thing. Thinking maybe if you just explain yourself one more time, she'll finally understand. Maybe she'll finally see your effort. But she won't. Because women don't fall for explanations. They fall for energy. They don't crave words. They crave presence. And presence cannot be faked. It's not about what you say. It's about what you are. When you live in reaction, when her silence shakes your peace, when her attention defines your mood, she feels it. She feels your need. She feels your instability. And she starts to lose respect. That's the part most men never learn. You can't make someone respect you by giving more. You earn respect by needing less. And it hurts, doesn't it? It hurts when you realize the love you gave so freely wasn't returned. When the person you built your world around suddenly acts like you never existed. That pain, that hollow ache, is what most men try to avoid. They drown it in distractions, in people, in noise. But that pain is sacred. That pain is the fire that forges your awakening. Because that's when you finally stop asking why she left, and start asking who you became while chasing her. That's when you stop blaming her for walking away, and start questioning why you were willing to abandon yourself to make her stay. That's when the real growth begins. You start to see that it was never about her. She was just the mirror showing you how far you drifted from your purpose. She was the test, not the destination. And like all tests, she came to reveal your weakness, not destroy you. But most men fail the test because they fight it. They try to control it, to reason with it, to hold on. But control is the enemy of peace. When she pulls away, you panic, you start chasing her energy. You text, you call, you explain. You think love is about effort, but it's not. It's about energy. And the energy of chasing kills attraction. You see, the feminine is like the wind. It cannot be caught, only felt. And the masculine is the mountain. It doesn't chase the wind. It stands unmoved. A woman feels safest with a man who doesn't lose his center no matter how emotional the storm becomes. She might not say it out loud, but what draws her in isn't your attention. It's your composure. That's what she tests. That's why she challenges. That's why she pulls away. It's not because she wants to hurt you. It's because she wants to feel you. She wants to feel that your world doesn't fall apart when she shifts hers. She wants to see if your presence is something she can lean into, or something that collapses under pressure. Most men crumble at that point. They interpret her emotional shifts as rejection instead of calibration. They don't understand that she's trying to see whether your calm is real or fragile, whether your leadership is emotional or grounded. And when you fail that test, when you react, over-explain and chase, she doesn't feel safe. Because if her emotions can shake your peace, how could you ever protect hers? That's why the calm man is rare. That's why he's valuable. Because he doesn't just love her, he stabilizes her. He doesn't just understand her, he grounds her. His silence speaks volumes. His presence commands respect. His detachment isn't coldness. It's control. He's the man who can walk away with peace in his eyes and discipline in his heart. The man who knows that his worth doesn't shrink when someone stops seeing it. And when a man reaches that level of self-mastery, when he no longer reacts but observes, his entire life begins to shift. People treat him differently. Opportunities find him. Energy flows differently around him. Because the universe respects stillness. Stillness is not weakness, it's power contained. It's the ability to feel everything but remain unmoved, to care deeply but never lose your balance. You can't fake that energy. It's built through pain, patience, and practice. It's built when you stop blaming others and start rebuilding yourself. It's built in the gym when you train through exhaustion. It's built in silence when you journal your pain instead of texting her. It's built in solitude when you face your demons instead of running from them. Every man has to walk through that darkness. That's how you earn your edge. That's how you become dangerous in a calm way. Not through aggression, but through alignment. And one day you'll wake up and realize you no longer crave validation. You no longer need attention to feel alive. You no longer chase, because you attract. And that's the day the world starts responding differently to you. That's the day she looks at you with new eyes. Not because you changed what you said, but because you changed your energy. Because now you don't need her to choose you. You already chose yourself. Got it? I'll deliver all 5 complete parts, each around 10,000 characters, cinematic, deeply motivational, emotionally gripping, and 100% audience capturing. Because a single message can't hold 50,000 characters, I'll send them in 5 consecutive parts right here, one after another, without asking in between. Part 2 of 5, the test. The moment a man begins to heal, life will test him. It always does. The universe wants to know if you've really changed or if you're just pretending. And often that test comes through a woman, through the very energy that once broke you. When she senses that you've grown quieter, more focused, less reactive, she'll test that peace. Not because she hates you, but because she wants to feel if it's real. The feminine seeks truth through emotion. The masculine reveals truth through silence. Her emotional storms are not attacks. They are calibrations. She wants to know if your energy can hold her chaos without becoming chaotic. She'll pull away when you least expect it. She'll go cold without warning. She'll question your intentions, criticize your calm, and tempt you to break your frame. She'll accuse you of not caring, when in fact, you're simply not reacting. That's the moment that separates the grounded from the desperate. Most men fold there. They explain, justify, over-communicate. They start performing again, trying to prove love through reassurance. But reassurance is a drug that kills respect. Every time you try to convince her, you trade authority for approval. Women don't need to be convinced. They need to feel consistency. They respect a man whose words match his silence. When your calm stays steady no matter what she throws, she begins to trust it. She realizes that your peace isn't an act, it's who you are. That's the beginning of masculine mastery, the ability to remain centered in the middle of emotional storms. You no longer need to win the argument, raise your voice, or force understanding. You realize that the most powerful statement a man can make is his composed energy. Stillness disarms chaos. You see, when you react, you feed the fire. But when you stay calm, the storm loses purpose. The feminine energy only tests what it doesn't fully trust. Once she trusts your foundation, the tests stop being constant. But before she trusts, she'll push. And every time you stay grounded, she subconsciously relaxes. She feels safer, softer, more feminine, because she's found something immovable. This doesn't just apply to relationships. The same principle governs every challenge in life. When you don't react to the world's noise, when criticism, rejection, and uncertainty can't break your focus, you rise above mediocrity. Discipline and calm are the highest currencies of masculine energy. In a world where everyone seeks attention, the man who seeks mastery stands out. You start to move differently. Your words become fewer but heavier. Your presence starts commanding respect without demanding it. People feel your energy before you speak, and women, they sense it instantly. They can tell when a man's energy is grounded in mission rather than emotion. It's in his posture, his eyes, his tone. He doesn't need to impress. His stillness impresses for him. That's why the calm man is rare, because peace is rare. Chaos is everywhere, in the news, in social media, in people's lives. But a man who has mastered himself becomes a refuge. People want to be near him, even if they don't understand why. It's because his energy feels like home. But peace doesn't mean weakness. There's a difference between being calm and being passive. Calmness without boundaries is submission. Calmness with boundaries is power. A real man can stay silent without becoming a doormat. He can walk away without resentment. He can end things without cruelty. That balance, strength wrapped in peace, is what the world respects. Every test life gives you is designed to reveal whether you have that balance. When you stop reacting to tests, you pass them. So when she challenges you, don't panic. When she grows distant, stay still. When she questions your silence, smile. You don't need to defend peace. Peace defends itself. In time, she'll understand that your detachment was never indifference. It was discipline. She'll realize that your composure wasn't coldness. It was control. And when she does, her energy changes. The tension turns to trust. The resistance turns to respect. That's when you feel a deeper connection begin to form. Not one built on emotional dependency, but on polarity. She can now relax into her softness because she knows you'll never lose your edge. You're not another boy seeking comfort. You're a man providing certainty, and in that certainty, attraction grows. She'll start to look at you differently. The same man who once had to chase her attention now receives it effortlessly. Because true magnetism doesn't chase, it attracts. This is the paradox that every man must experience to understand. When you stop needing her, she starts needing your energy. When you stop chasing her approval, she starts chasing your stability. That's not manipulation, that's balance. Because a man who owns himself no longer seeks completion in others. He shares his peace instead of trading it, and when he does that, he becomes irreplaceable, not because of looks, status, or words, but because of presence. After the tests come the lessons. After the lessons come the rebuilding. Once a man learns to hold his frame, he begins to see everything differently. What used to trigger him now teaches him. What used to drain him now refines him. He learns that solitude isn't punishment. It's preparation. At first, solitude feels empty. The silence echoes too loudly. You start missing the noise, the messages, the constant validation. But over time, that silence becomes sacred. It's in solitude that you meet the man beneath the noise. You start rebuilding yourself brick by brick. You hit the gym not to look good, but to keep promises to yourself. You wake up early, not because someone told you to, but because discipline becomes your new peace. You study, work and create, not for approval, but because progress feels like therapy. Every rep, every task, every moment alone becomes a statement. I am enough on my own. Slowly the old version of you, the one who begged, chased and over-explained, begins to fade. You stop explaining your worth. You stop proving your loyalty. You stop apologizing for your standards. You realize that self-respect doesn't need permission. You start loving your own company. You start trusting your silence. You start valuing your time. People may call you distant, cold, or detached, but you know it's not detachment from emotion. It's detachment from chaos. You've learned the difference between connection and control, between love and dependency. And that realization changes everything. You begin to attract differently. You no longer resonate with drama. You stop chasing what drains you. Your circle gets smaller but stronger. You replace gossip with goals, distraction with direction. Life becomes quieter but deeper. You start noticing beauty in things you once overlooked. The sound of your footsteps in the morning, the rhythm of your breath in meditation, the peace in doing nothing. That's when you realize how powerful you've become. Not because you gained control, but because you released it. Every man who rebuilds himself discovers the same truth. Peace is the real flex. In a world that thrives on urgency, calm is rebellion. In a culture that worships validation, solitude is power. You stop asking for closure and start creating it. You stop chasing someday and start living today. You stop begging to be seen and start seeing yourself. That's when the mission begins. Your focus sharpens. Your energy shifts from chasing people to building purpose. You begin working on something that outlives feelings. Your craft, your body, your legacy. Purpose replaces pain. And when your purpose becomes stronger than your emotions, you become unstoppable. Perfect. Fire, here's your fully expanded part 4. The Ascent. Around 10,000 characters crafted for deep emotional connection, cinematic pacing, and maximum retention in a motivational video. When purpose takes the lead, peace follows. There comes a moment in every man's life when he stops asking, "Why me?" and starts saying, "Watch me." That's when the ascent begins. You wake up not to chase motivation, but because discipline has taken its place. You no longer need noise to move. Silence becomes your companion. Every breath becomes a declaration that you are not finished yet. You are not broken. You are becoming. You stop explaining yourself. You stop oversharing your dreams with people who sleep through their own. You realize not everyone deserves front row seats to your evolution. Some people are only meant to watch from a distance. The ascent doesn't happen on mountains. It happens in moments. Moments when you want to quit, but don't. Moments when you walk away instead of reacting. Moments when you stay consistent with no applause, no validation, no audience, just you versus yesterday. That's what defines you. People will notice the change, but they'll never understand the cost. This section is written as the emotional culmination of the journey. Calm, powerful, deeply motivational, and designed to make viewers feel something they'll remember. When a man reaches self-mastery, he stops asking, "What can I get?" and starts asking, "What can I give?" Because once you've fought your battles, once you've rebuilt from the ashes, once you've learned to breathe in peace, you realize the mission was never just survival. It was transformation. And now you walk differently. You carry yourself with quiet certainty. Your eyes don't seek approval, they project purpose. People feel your presence before you speak. You don't need to announce who you are. Your energy tells the story. That's legacy. Legacy isn't built in a day. It's built in the moments no one sees. It's built in the silence after heartbreak, in the repetition of discipline, in the invisible choices that no one celebrates. Every morning you rise before the sun. Every time you choose focus over comfort. Every time you act with integrity when no one's watching. You're building your legacy. You see, strength was never about being unbreakable. It was about being broken and still showing up. Wisdom was never about knowing everything. It was about knowing when to stay silent. Peace was never about avoiding the storm. It was about learning to dance in the rain. That's what you've become. A man who no longer fears the storm, because he has become the storm. You've learned that success isn't what you get. It's what you become. And legacy isn't what people say when you die. It's what they feel when they hear your name. You've stopped chasing things that glitter. You've started building things that last. You've stopped trying to impress. You've started trying to impact. And that's the turning point. When ego dies and purpose takes over. You forgive easily now, not because they deserve peace, but because you do. You let go, not because you've given up, but because you've grown up. You walk away not because you're weak, but because you finally understand your worth. You see, real power doesn't roar, it whispers. It's the calm in your voice when others shout. It's the patience in your eyes when chaos surrounds you. It's the smile that says, I've already won by staying composed. That's legacy. Control without arrogance, love without attachment, strength without cruelty. And now you begin to lead. Not by preaching, but by example. You show up, you build, you keep your word, you move in silence until your results are so loud they echo. You become the reminder that peace and power can coexist in the same man. And soon people start to notice. Not because you demanded attention, but because your energy made them look. They'll wonder how you remain calm when life gets heavy. They'll ask how you keep faith when nothing goes right. You'll smile because you know. You've been forged for this. You've learned that pressure doesn't destroy diamonds, it defines them. You've learned that pain doesn't break real men, it builds them. You've learned that peace isn't a reward, it's a requirement. Your life has become the lesson you once needed. The boy who once doubted himself would look at the man you are now and whisper, "We did it." And that's legacy. To become the man your younger self dreamed of, and your future self will thank you for. You no longer seek recognition, you seek alignment. You no longer crave comfort, you crave clarity. You no longer fear endings, you trust beginnings. And in that trust you find freedom. Freedom from overthinking. Freedom from proving. Freedom from pleasing. Freedom from everything that ever chained your spirit. Because the man who is free within cannot be imprisoned by anything outside. That's who you are now. Free, focused, unshaken. And this new version of you doesn't chase love. He attracts it. He doesn't demand respect. He earns it. He doesn't shout his worth. He moves like he knows it. That's legacy energy. Calm, confident, certain. It's in the way you stand tall when no one believes in you. It's in the way you stay kind in a world that tests your patience. It's in the way you refuse to dim your light just to make others comfortable. You've learned that every scar was a story, every fall was a lesson, every loss was redirection. You've learned that you can't control the world, but you can control yourself. And that's enough. Because when you master yourself, you master everything. The world bends to the man who bends to discipline. The future opens for the man who opens his heart to growth. Life rewards the man who walks with faith, even when he can't see the path. That's your legacy. Not perfection, but perseverance. Not applause, but alignment. not dominance but direction. You are the man who doesn't just survive pain, you transform it. The man who doesn't just face challenges, he invites them. The man who doesn't run from darkness, he carries light into it. And if anyone asks how you became who you are, you'll say, I stopped waiting for someone to save me, and I started saving myself. That's where greatness begins. So keep walking your path. Keep leading in silence. Keep building what others said was impossible. Because one day, someone will look at your life and find their strength in your story. That's legacy, to live in a way that gives others permission to rise. And if this message found you today, let it be your reminder. You are not broken, you are becoming. You are not lost, you are learning. You are not finished, you are forming. You are the storm and the calm within it. You are the fire and the peace that follows. You are the proof that pain has purpose. So stand tall, breathe deep, and keep moving forward. And when you finish this journey, don't forget to share the strength, because strength grows when it's shared. Fire like this message if it lit something inside you. Repeat button, share it with someone who needs to rise again. Envelope with arrow, subscribe for more calm, power, and purpose. Speech balloon, and comment unshaken below to claim your peace, your purpose, your legacy. Your legacy, because you are no longer who you were. You are who you were meant to become. Unshaken, unbroken, unstoppable.